Perhaps.
We'll see.
All right.
It'll end problems.
So the little gnome looks behind him at the rest of the squat brick building, and the interior of which is heavily coated in shadow, the only light sources being from a few fires that they have burning in stone-cast areas so that it won't spread. And then the little gnome turns back to the four of you and says, "I suppose you can come on in. We don't have any furniture big enough for you."
That's all right.
You can
step into the building.
Okay. The Shadowcaster leads you on towards one of the fires, which perhaps is welcome given the incredibly low temperature. As the little gnome walks, you can see from the shadows, the corners of the building, others appear to take their place near the fire as well. One among them stands out, in part because he's slightly taller than the others. He has a, whereas the Shadowcasters that you're seeing here, these gnomes, all do have intense appearances within their eyes. The greatest stare of them all does come from one particular individual, a rakish-looking gnome, if gnomes can appear rakish. A prominent nose, a series of earrings and other piercings covering his face, dark clothes to help better retain heat, considering how cold it is outside, and a pearly glint to his teeth. His clothes appear rather functional and very much flexible, and there is the sign of mending on them multiple times. Perhaps repaired for prior damage. "Who visits the coterie of Illuodi? That is me."
Grim will bow his head to the gang leader and introduce themselves. Says, actually, he will let Leon do it.
Very well.
Much better idea.
Leon will also bow his head.
Even bowing, you're still taller than the gnome.
Mm-hmm. I am Arthur Bryn. I am here to, along with my companions here, gestures a hand to Dwohurim.
This is Harvick.
Then hand over to Tempus.
Tempus just sort of taps his shoulder, taps his forehead even. "Hello."
Then the other hand over to Fargus.
Mark, at your service.
We have been around the ruins and have run across a little bit of problems, and we thought business is one of the best ways to solve it.
Running across the ruins? You're new here, aren't you?
Somewhat, yes. And yet, it seems that we are fairly heavily into the area's politics already.
Yeah, so
Or rather, it seems that there is a group that likes to, become enemies of everyone around them.
All right.
How do you feel about the Scarlet Serpents?
How do you feel about the Scarlet Serpents?
He sort of takes out his pipe. So stuffs a little bit of his tobacco or pipe weed in there. And sort of looks around for a little bit of light and sparks it himself. His magic. Just a little glint of the fire in the pipe. Smoking a little bit. Says, "I personally don't like them very much. It's almost like they have been bloated, taking all the area around them, forcing all the people living in their vicinity to stay small and quiet, or eliminating them."
Dragonhall is not made for people to like. It is made for people to survive.
True enough.
Some people would like to survive and prosper. And sometimes there are ways in which such people can do such. Opportunities, so to speak.
Opportunities many can profit from as well.
All right. The gnome tilts his head with a quizzical eyebrow raised.
In simple, we have had some run-ins with the Scarlet Serpents that have gone quite far to our disliking. So we are well, we would be interested in causing quite a bit of damage to them.
You're close, and you have a reputation for being rather powerful.
Exceptionally
They
powerful.
have not dared attack you yet, and as such, perhaps this could be the one opportunity to get rid of them for good,
Allowing yourselves
Yes.
to grow bigger.
freeing you from their from the danger of their anger once and for all.
No, we fought them in the past.
And you're still here.
That says a lot.
The gnome leader looks a bit to the left, a bit to the right, at the other gnomes around him, looks back at you. So, let me see if I understand you. You're relatively recent arrivals to the ruins. You bumbled into one of the groups here that aren't to your liking, which just so happens to be one of the more powerful groups in the entire ruins. You've decided to take them head on due to your pride or dislike or whatever, and you've thought about going about that by asking me.
There's perhaps a way to see it. I would like to see it as people have arrived in Dragonhall who seek to do more than desperately survive in the edge of livable conditions. The Scarlet Serpents has a lot. They are one of the more powerful gangs. They have a lot of things hidden behind their doors and walls that would be rather nice if we could come into just a fraction of that wealth. Others, I'm sure, feel the same way, and whenever these big changes happen, there is opportunity for people of talent to make themselves a name, a reputation, allies, for one. There is a chance for those with talent to grow and prosper. You are, well, obvious people of talent, and so it seems likely that you would have some interest in this. We do not ask you to serve us. We simply wish that you would take the opportunity as it comes, as others have done. You are not the only ones we have brought in on this.
We're not asking you to fight them alone. Such would be, well, you said yourself you fought before.
A playful grin spreads across Iluodi's face. You mentioned great prizes behind their walls and doors. Tell me, recent arrival, what do you know of their walls and doors?
Lee's in a little bit. We have placed a man on the inside, and it does indeed seem to confirm our suspicions that when we came here, they hold magical secrets. They can transform people from one race to another. And this seems to just be the tip of the iceberg for the secrets they have hidden around. The area is vast, and why have they chosen to have it so vast? Well, likely because there have been some secrets in there that they have wanted for themselves.
So keep others out so no one will find out.
I find
I
it
am
interesting that you may have succeeded in placing someone within the Scarlet Serpents, considering how we've been known to do the same.
Nonsense that is. It seems we are people of the same mind, then.
I don't know about that. You appear to be rather confident in the information that you have supposedly gathered. I am not so foolish.
You have better information?
I don't
What do
know.
you know they have hidden in there?
I don't know whether I'm about to offer information for free.
Judgment says, well, regardless, it might be something you would want. And there's unlikely to be a better time now than now, I would say.
You four are certainly quite brave, hoping to stir up trouble. Perhaps Scarlet has sent you to test my feelings about the matter. I do not wish to fight her again.
Are you saying we're working for the Scarlet Servants?
Are you working for the Scarlet Servants?
As you should know, no one but scaly people can enter their ranks.
The playful grin widens, and he nods.
Yes, very much so.
And we are not.
No, you certainly don't appear that. Unless you're all special like her. But you stink of horizon, not you.
He looks at Fargus.
Well, I tell you what. I am all for newcomers, hoping to have the bravery required to take on their own space in the ruins. What are you hoping to gain by putting the Scarlet Serpents low?
Well, there's a few things, I suppose. One, we will no longer simply be the newcomers.
We will have a reputation behind us.
We will have done something, even if that was done by others, such as yourself. Our names will be among them. That can carry a lot here. It's a rather tough time to, well, sweets as we are. It's a little hard to get respect in this place.
I'm not sure whether you'd want much of a reputation. You see how that's affecting Scarlet Serpents.
Everyone sort of grins and says, well...
Reputation is a double-edged sword, is it not?
I still don't know about you for making it worth my while. Tell me, you mentioned you had others in on this scheme. Are they individuals of worth?
Because they are some of the other surrounding gangs.
No? Like who?
Could you repeat that?
Oh? Like who?
So, just, the Buckbears, for one.
The Wreck Humie gang?
The hope was that they would draw some of the enemies away.
Brutes able to divert the main force away from the rest.
Those bugbears don't stand a chance against the Scarlet Serpents.
Alone, no. Good distraction.
The same can be said for any one of the gangs, I suppose. If one could have taken them, they would have already. Unless you're saying you could do it alone.
You are advising rather dangerous actions. I tell you what, newcomers. You see, there is a reputation with the Scarlet Serpents, along with all of their other reputations, that they are connected to the government. Not to the Blue herself, but to the Black, through the treacherous and powerful Black Fang. Anyone who rises up to try and take down the Scarlet Serpents would undoubtedly have to deal with the Black Fang. Your reputation would work against you then. Certainly not one I wish to have. I enjoy my life without assassins.
Perhaps then this is an opportunity for you to put our name on their destruction while still getting, well, whatever it is that they have that you might want. We, I suppose, will be more than happy to take the credit. And if that means our death, well, then we got what we asked for. And you got what you wanted, no?
One moment.
The gnomes all sort of turn around and put their heads together by the fire and begin lowly murmuring to each other in Gnomish.
Sure.
I wonder what Gnomish sounds like.
Incredibly annoying.
Incredibly high pitched. Incredibly high pitched, I imagine.
You remember those feminist gnomes that sent your Age of Darkness party into the pit of a cow?
Oh god.
Like that.
Well, that helps.
They frequently cast looks back at you, shake their heads, turn back around, and keep talking to each other.
Here we'll just try to look impressive.
You do manage to make out one word, Archmage. The circle ends up breaking up. The Shadowcaster leader looks back to the four of you.
Well, tell you what. We're not interested in taking any of the more to the point, we're not interested in direct confrontation. If you're hoping to have any shot at all of defeating Scarlet, you're going to need a bit of help actually getting to her. So, what Iluodi's coterie can do is distract the patrols and give you some ease in making it to their main building, which, since you have a man on the inside, I'm sure you know all about that.
And how do you simply wish when the attack happens to, well, ambush patrols then?
We're not going to be engaging in bloodshed. Destruction. Giving you the opportunity you need.
Cause havoc to lure them away. I've had a solution.
Mechanically, you'll recall the map that I put the you individuals on first, the Scarlet Serpent neighborhood, which I made you navigate through. With the aid of the Shadowcaster gnomes, you can completely bypass that map, as you will be under no threat of encountering patrols until you reach the main building, which you're presumed to know all about since you have a man on the inside.
Oh, we most definitely do know about that building.
A whole lot of nothing.
We're going to scout it later.
I know.
Right, well, I guess we'll tell them that it'll happen in 3 days.
Oh, 3 days. All right, then. And I could offer you some more information as well about the details, but since you already have a man there, and I don't, then you've got it all covered.
Any information would allow us to cross-reference.
Check the states.
You seem rather confident about what you're doing. Wouldn't want to undermine that.
Well, the more knowledge we have, the better chance to succeed, and the better chance for you guys to win, for us to win or die. Depends, but it's more positive for you guys the more that we know, isn't it? Then you get more chance of success. Your rate goes through the roof for no extra cost.
Yes, and our man might have missed something that you have snapped out.
Really,
After all-
I'm interested in how you're speaking with him.
That's one of our secrets.
Aha. Well, then I'll keep secrets too.
Tempus can't help but laugh with Fargus.
Very well, then.
3 days, then. Any particular time frame within that?
Sure. Well, that is, the bugbears will attack. About, it should be noisy enough. Do you think?
Perhaps. Don't bother coming back. We've got it under control.
Right then. Well, it's a pleasure doing business with you, Mr.
Yeah. Business.
And then I'll turn leave.
We'll take our leave from the creepy gnomes.
See, yes, 5 pairs of beady little eyes follow your backs as you step out of the squat building to outside.
I'm not sure if it's his eyes or the fact his mustache is crooked, which is annoying me more.
Maybe he's got a crooked lip, and that's what he's crooked.
Fixate on the weirdest details, Leon. I suppose we go northwest. The brow.
I don't like drow. I don't like
Not
Indians.
particularly, but certainly know that they can be effective.
Yes. Hopefully they won't attack us outright.
I think we look spectacular enough for them not to.
Well, that, as long as we don't go looking sulking, if we just walk in without any sort of aggression, surely we won't get ambushed painfully.
Much.
Try to see if we can find the main building. Getting up to that, I suppose, is the best beginning.
You leave the gnomish neighborhood, striking northwest for the gang of the Silent Footsteps. The heavy cloud cover clears somewhat, and the evening sun gives an almost peaceful look to the ruins. Perhaps 20 minutes of walking later, you reckon you're in the right place when you come across a perimeter of arrows stuck into the crevices of the road. Surveying before you, you note the buildings here have multiple floors, with numerous windows and holes. The avenue you're on is the only realistic way through here. You see that fallen debris, which may have once littered the avenue, has been packed into the nooks and crannies between the buildings. So all the alleyways are completely inaccessible. Indeed, the road is free for comfortable travel, and clear of potential cover.
Yep.
Well, this is clearly. Are the arrows stuck down by hand, or do they seem to be shot into the ground?
How well does...
Are they staying right up or slanted?
They are upright.
All right. Sure. Well, they certainly have marked it nicely.
Yes. Looking around, there are certainly the remnants of skeletons. Their bodies rotted away, except for the bones, with some arrows laying past them, or near those skeleton remains. Cause of death seems fairly obvious.
Yeah. So right into the death zone it is then.
I suppose it is.
Unlike
Let's
with
be wary.
Unlike with Iluodi's coterie, there is no building which sticks out. The road continues all the way through until you would undoubtedly reach another perimeter of arrows sticking out of the ground. Instead, you just have tall buildings steeped heavily in shadow from the evening sun.
I suppose we'll go and call out. Leon will call out, right?
Sure. Though it feels silly to call out someone called the Silent Footsteps, but
Let's just assume that they can hear us.
they're not likely to respond, however.
Not until we see something that makes them interested.
Your boots crunch on the avenue.
Well, Tempus will just sort of have a look at the very packed alleyways and look up to the roofs of the ruins and the vantage points, just casually looking as Human was shouting out.
Alright, well, Hiram can certainly do the calling out if need be. Eyes in the windows, high folk of the land. We seek to speak to you, to your leader particularly, as we have a proposal that might be of your interest.
You, Team PC cannot help but collectively imagine, if but for a moment, the sounds of bows being readied.
Tempus still keeps his casual look. He doesn't look any more stressed. If he's going to get shot, he's going to get shot. He's just still looking at all the vantage points and turn.
Tempus, looking around, can say, you know, survivor of the Dwarven Games, there's several dozen, maybe 100 different vantage points. It's impossible to keep your eyes on them all, and wow, they did a great job of removing any potential cover on this main road.
Yep. Tempus is totally just, he's submitted to this. If he's going to get shot, he's going to get shot. There's no point cowering.
There is, however, no vocal reply to Dwohurim's words.
You want to have a look around to see if there's any signs that like other creatures have been moving around in the area, other than us. It's unlikely to see tracks, but you know.
You could if you wish to try to analyze with a tracking thing, Leon. Then you can attempt to do so.
Could I use my survivalist scout background?
Sure.
Wisdom modifier?
Yes. Leon doesn't notice any traffic on the avenue except for himself, though admittedly with all the snow and icefall, it would be incredibly difficult to even spot anything.
Does there appear to be any lights anywhere?
No. Other than the evening sun, there is no light.
The matter has some sensitivity, and I would rather not call it out among the ruins without being sure that the ears that needed to hear would do so.
From a few stories above you, you hear a lilting voice and coldly say, "You dare much, trespassers? Why should the silent footsteps listen to your words at all? Perhaps you did not heed the warning signs, suggesting your presence was unwelcome."
Sort of bow deeply towards the voice. Is anyone visible?
Yes, a drow woman, bow at the ready, and pointed down at you specifically, has made herself visible. Again, a few stories above you.
Bow. My lady, it was not the task we have set out to undertake is a mighty one, and your reputation precedes you enough that we think your possible cooperation with us, collaboration so to speak, would be, well, worth the risk of our lives.
At that moment, a voice on ground level and crunching out from one of the shadowy buildings says, "All right then, dwarf. I will give you your opportunity to impress me with your words." Stepping out into the light of the evening sun is a tall, slender woman with age lines around her eyes. And as elves are notoriously not known for showing age lines, they serve to give her a dignified look. Wearing dark clothes, although there is certainly some sturdy armor within them as well, bundled up quite nicely, what with the unnaturally cold temperatures of Drakenhall, and beady eyes, which stare down at you, Dwohurim.
He'll bow deeply again, and sort of speak in a little bit of a little more quieter voice now that he doesn't actually need to like call anyone out as it is. Sort of